Easter eggs, Easter bunny, and the resurrection? What do they have to do with one another? Let's find out. It's Easter time. Christos hariavi merelots. We greet one another saying that Christ is resurrected. And then we see Easter bunnies, chocolate bunnies. We see Easter eggs. And then somebody says, hey, what does this all have to do with the resurrection? Actually, a few things, right? They point to the resurrection. They're symbols. Just as a candle is a symbol of light, the egg, it's a symbol of the tomb. Inside is life. And today we celebrate the life that is inside of the tomb. We celebrate the empty tomb. Easter bunnies, they're symbols of fertility. Now today I'm not here to defend the bunnies or the eggs, although it's cute to do so. But what I'm here to tell you about is the transformation that needs to take place when we proclaim that Christ has resurrected. Today is the day that we celebrate Christ's resurrection because everybody has died, but only Christ returned from the grave. And you say, well, how do you know that that's true? Because everyone who has been confronted with the resurrection has changed, has been transformed. And the challenge now is for us to be transformed as well. You know, the disciples who became apostles were commissioned to go throughout the world telling people about the resurrection of Christ. And so two of them, Thaddeus and Bartholomew, we know came to Armenia. We know that Peter went to Rome. We know that Thomas went to India. And wherever they went, they weren't greeted with mobs of people applauding them, just the opposite. In fact, a lot of times people think when Thaddeus came to Armenia, they said, Tato John Arieste, mi bajagogi khame. They thought, udush, humush, dashi, dushi. No way. Just the opposite. They killed him. They killed him. St. Thaddeus, like St. Bartholomew, and all of the other apostles were killed. In fact, John went to his death in a prison. In other words, if any one of these apostles who had gone to these countries said, Jesus did not resurrect, they would live. And they were alone, so there was no peer pressure either. Now let me ask you something. Look at my shirt. It's black. Si seva. You could say it in any language you want. Esto es negro. Edo chornia. No matter how you say it, it's black. But if somebody puts a gun to your head, hey, all bets are off. I'll say this is white. I'll say it's red. I'll say it's blue. This is not worth dying for. But when they were confronted by people who said, tell us that the resurrection didn't happen, they couldn't do it. In fact, not only the apostles, throughout the entire history of the Christian church, especially the Armenian church. In fact, at the time of the Armenian Genocide, Armenian priests, and there is a documentation of this in a book called Theotic, I invite you to read that, one after the other, were asked to deny the resurrection of Christ, and they all went to their grave. They all went to their death, proclaiming that the resurrection happened. Now what I'm asking you today is let this resurrection, let this Easter time be a time of change, of transformation, where you find that courage, not to die for the faith, as much as what I'm asking you to do today, live for the faith. You see, when you live with Christ in your life, you see the possibility in your life. If Christ overcame death, the ultimate of evils, Christ overcame that death. Look what we can do with our lives. We can overcome evil with good. We can overcome hatred with love. We can take over the worst of conditions. Even cancers cannot exist when you have love in your heart, when you have Christ in your heart. And this is the challenge that we're inviting you to today. Easter is a time of reflection. It's a time for change. It's a time for renewal. Just as the Easter egg and the Easter bunny points us in the direction of fertility, of newness, of new life, so too the resurrection is not about dying for faith, but living for faith. Today we live in a world where we need people to be the witnesses to the resurrection, that we can overcome evil with good, we can overcome hatred with love, and we can overcome death with life. Christos hariav imerelots. Christ has resurrected from the dead. Orhiale harutunum Christosi. Blessed is the resurrection of Christ. Did you like that? If you did, there's a lot more. Join us at the Facebook page of the Western Diocese. You'll find AC 101 episodes as well as other videos. Enjoy.